I didn't have money to buy computers, so there was a client who had a computer business. It's called Mohan Computers बोल के था. तो मैं उसके पास गया, उसका वेबसाइट बनाया, बोला कि I want computers as advance, and he happily gave that. He gave me 2 computers as advance. उसको लेके हमने we just set up a small space to start with.
So welcome everyone to the RealE talk show, and we have our esteemed guest, Mr. Paresh Masade, today with us. A little bit about Paresh. So Paresh Masade is the founder and CEO of Huawei, a company focused on alumni engagement and networking solutions. He holds a PGDI degree in marketing and supply chain from National Institute of Industrial Engineering, NITI, Mumbai, now also known as IIM Mumbai, as well as he is a BTech in mechanical engineering from PIRM Engineering College. He has a background in leadership and has previously worked as a leadership fellow at Bhumi and as a summer intern in supply chain at Perfetti Van Mille. So could you provide some insight into the origins of Huawei and its connection with coherence, because that is also somewhere connected, and when and how all that began?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Angok. Thanks, Rinku. So, Coherence is the parent company even right now. It's the same company that's been there. So, date back to my college days at BTech, where web development started as a hobby for me, and I was working with Bhumi. So they asked me to do a website for them. Probably I did a very fantastic job that looking at a Bhumi's website, there were at least 5 or 6 other people started asking me, "Can you do a website for me?" Right. So that's how it started, and it was more of a hobby kind of thing. But I was always had branding, so always had this name Coherence written. I had my cards printed, all of that. I started getting money out of interacting with clients, working with clients, and when I landed at NITI, this was still there. I always had been getting projects. Had a small team that I built up, about 5 people who were working with me there. So then I never registered a company. That's when Prasad sir was there at NITI, who said, he's randomly asked who has a company. I said, I have a company. And then I said, why do I have to register? Because I was still making money as everything was good. But he kind of asked me to make it formal. That's when I went ahead and forged a partnership with one of my colleagues then, and then we built up a company. But like I said, 2009 was time when recession hit, right? So we were just probably batch like when a couple of friends of mine, actually fellow NITI entrepreneurs, actually they got into Lehman Brothers, they got into really good companies during summers, and by the time it went into finals, we actually had nothing. They lost. Lehman Brothers itself was collapsed. So there was but the placements that used to happen for like within 3 days, they're telling no signs of completion even after a month. I wanted to work for a couple of years and then start up, but maybe that was an omen for me. Hey, you should go ahead. And then in the same time, I got some business plan competition. I won 2 business plan competitions. One at IIM Indore, one at Great Lakes. That gave me a sufficient, like say, that was not for Huawei or this Coherence. It was for I wanted to start a food chain. It was named Laziz, and that was my final year project as well. So went into understanding what food takes, designed the cards, when everything was done. But 2 things that happened was I didn't have any experience in operations management, so it was fairly difficult. Very young, fresh out of college, so it was difficult to manage. And then second thing was I was running out of cash. Okay, so the prize money that I had was running. So, but this business of web development and all was always there. And then I said, let me get back to what is strength for you, right? Technology was always strength. We did the same web stuff for like web and mobile stuff for almost 4-5 years. In 2014, we said we'll shut down the services wing and then convert to product. Alumni engagement was something that was dear to me somewhere. The reason was like when I started doing websites, 2007 and 8, I did my school website, and back then it like saw a sudden spike of like almost 500-600 people within a few days, and many of my alumni were those were not even Facebook days. This was Orkut days actually. So many of my alumni, my school alumni, I come from a background very remote district in Telangana, right, erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. So it's like almost we were the only school that was very good school there, and all my alumni who graduated before 2000s or so were actually in US doing really well. They all signed up. The internet was new, right? So they all signed up. They knew what it was, and then I found like the school so backward has such a power that alumni are outside and so well connected. And even if they contributed probably like 10,000 rupees an annum, not even a month, right? You can change the face of the school. You can change the face of the way government school works, right? So that was a starting point. And then when at NITI, I interacted with a lot of alumni of ours, and we NITI में वो एक अच्छा था कि you get a lot of alumni keep hanging out at the campus, right? Or every other time, right? So when you speak to them, I bounced this idea, and they said that's where I got a lot of insight that alumni networking is very big in US and Western countries. It's not in India, and if you really want to like say. If you really want to improve the quality of education and the infrastructure at the country, right? Like because that's the two problems in the education sector. Uh, Alumni giving back becomes an important thing. Just say if you look at an engineering college today, most of the students graduate without knowing what to do, and we were never told. Like my engineering college never told me what. So even the CSC grads didn't know what Python was back then. आजकल सबको पता है पर उस दिन सी एच मैं आई वाज अ मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर एंड आई वाज लर्निंग वेब डेवलपमेंट एंड एवरीथिंग नन ऑफ द स्टफ दैट इवन वाज taught in the college. Okay, now why was the but when you look at NITI, right, हम क्लास को अभी अटेंड नहीं करते थे, कुछ भी नहीं करते थे, but like we knew everything, right? We knew about back then modern trade, all the jargons, you caught them from an alumni engagement. कभी कोई आता था, कोई गेस्ट लेक्चर आता था, ऐसे ही बात करते थे. So that didn't happen at most of the colleges across India, right? And that's where we said, okay, if you have to change that, alumni engagement is critical. You have to get back there. None of the institutions actually were engaging anyone. आज थोड़ा at least there's a good sense at least today that people, company colleges do look at alumni engagement. Back then there was nothing. Yeah, so that's how it started, and this was very powerful motivation for sure. And then said in 2009, towards the end of the December or so, I said I put up my first full-time office kind of thing. That's also in a small जैसे भूमि का गेस्ट हाउस था, उसमें ऐसे एक छोटा सा स्पेस था, तो उसमें 2 कंप्यूटर ला लिया. The computers also is a very funny story. Like I didn't have money to buy computers, so there was a client who had a computer business. It's called Mohan Computers बोल के था. So मैं उसके पास गया, उसका वेबसाइट बनाया, बोला कि I want computers as advance, and he happily gave that. He gave me 2 computers as advance. उसको लेके हमने we just set up a small space to start with. And
What
then,
is the name Vaave means?
we call it wow. Wow is as an expression of awesomeness. Wow, feeling.
Okay.
And to be very candid, the name also because we wanted a file. Like I was searching for names. File letter domain mila .com mila. अच्छा लगा, unique है. So we just use it. हाँ, अभी the repercussions are that people call it Huawei. Someone's बहुत सारे different names आ रहे हैं, but yeah, that's okay.
So Paresh, very inspiring beginnings, right? You have been an entrepreneur since the start of time, like you said. But interestingly, I read about you, it was your article only, where you said you actually shied away from using that tag of a founder or a CEO, right? You didn't want or you didn't like to use that tag. So tell us a little bit about why is that so?
College days में अभी like they're being very frank, I never told about that I had a company and I was doing business back in my college. Okay, not to my only very close circle knew me as a thing, and even in NITI को भी आके मैं किसी को बोला भी नहीं. I did tell in my interview, but not to at my any of the friends or something, because आज entrepreneurship is a fact. Okay, everyone says like wow तू founder है. उस दिन हमें अरे पढ़ना छोड़ के तू ये क्या कर रहा है, to be very, they actually laugh at you. Okay, so that was one kind of thing. Okay, you didn't want to publicly tell that you are a founder or you wanted to start a company or you are making money actually. Okay, I used to make almost 5,000 a month. Back then it was very high. The 5,000 is still like in a college days, it's nice, good money.
Yeah.
You have your pocket money coming from parents and you don't have to think so. But the main thing, my earlier cards of visiting cards also, I used to write BDM, Business Development Manager. Okay. reflecting back, I really don't realize why exactly what happened, why did I use that, but I kind of shied away saying CEO is a very big power because somewhere you're not actually a CEO. Somewhere you are not actually. If you look at a CEO of a Microsoft or a large company, like even probably 100 people company, right? You're very different from calling yourself a CEO, right? So, है सो दो तीन बंदे हैं उसमें CEO क्या करोगे तुम? So it's not like you were doing you had a role. It had a privilege, it had a thing. So and then you have to do everything anyway. So two three reasons. One is could be like maybe I didn't feel that the work was so worth to be called a CEO because you were developer, you were the sales guy, you were everything, and you had to visit a lot of clients. Like say, government of Maharashtra was my client when I was in Netnity, and when I went there, if you say you are CEO, then it will थोड़ा क्या BDM की तरह ही जाना पड़ेगा वहाँ पे उनको ऐसे ही अच्छा चाहिए कि they don't even lot of them actually don't even know that I was only the founder, I was only the developer, and I was only the delivery. And you can't tell them that you are a student at NITI. You should behave as if you are a sales guy.
So, Paresh, let's talk a little bit about Wow, right? Tell us a little bit how big it is right now. Where did you intend it to be? And what's like the future vision for Wow?
Yeah. So we started with that intention of saying engagement. So alumni is very important to come back. That was a very noble mission in terms of like, hey, really feels very connected. You say you are changing the education segment, etc. and all. We ended up in one thing that's always been common for me is that I always sold before I even built anything. Okay, so I had my first customers of Wow in like 2011 when before even we started fully, the product was even ready. We had 12 customers when we shut down the services business. That's in 2014. So it's just took about 2-3 years to even get the first 12 customers. Thing is, the first few customers as well, they were actually using it, you were playing, but they were actually the early adopter, very early adopters. The market was not towards that. So I think we struggled until like say 2017 or 18 to even get to 100 customers also. Okay, 100 customers who really wanted to pay anything, even if they were paying like say they were comparing it to the website. They were not keen at alumni engagement, right? So because they were more interested in the student development because college cares only about admissions and placements, nothing else. Except for the top colleges, even they were very reluctant to even launch something. उनको क्या ये additional था. So that was market was not something very conducive for us for a long time. So 2014 से 2017 तक भी ज़्यादा सेल नहीं हुआ. Somewhere we changed our narrative and story. What we said is, hey, it's not for alumni engagement, it's for your placements. And student development is so important for your placements. Your alumni can change that. Now that changed a lot in the last 4-5 years. Then when the pitch started changing, and we said student development was important, your placements are important, your alumni can get that. Now that shifted the entire conversation. We started signing up a good number of colleges then. So last, I said 4-5 years, we signed up decent almost all the top colleges across India. We haven't gone global yet. We always were bootstrapped. We raised money, not that we were, but I think total money we raised until now is like 3.5 CR over the last 6-7 years. So that's I'll still consider it's bootstrap because we made more money than what we burned. So yeah, profitable in that way. Yeah, this year we have been actually trying to expand with some burning, but otherwise, so last year we did about 4.6 CR. We were about to touch about 5.5. We lost a big project. Okay, but that's like around rough. That was almost, but still that was almost 100% growth from previous year. Previous year, and then currently this year we are probably will touch about say 8 to 9 CR.
Very nice.
You're comfortable sharing like the sense of number of colleges or universities that are using?
We would have about 1,000+ colleges across India.
Wow.
Almost. And the customer base, we say, is about 550, wherein, like say, we have symbiosis, right? So all the 40 institutions will be in the single network, but that's like one unit, one customer, but 40 institutions. In that way, we have a lot of them. That's like that. In that way, we will have 1,000+ institutions across India. India presence we will have in 21 countries. We do have customers across countries. That's but 1 or 2 customers everywhere. And then we also do corporate. So we started doing corporate alumni for about 3 years ago, and customers like Tata Steel, Bosch, Hero, pretty large number of corporates are our customers. Now we are about 21 corporates.
So one question is popping up my mind related to your customers only. Is Niti your customer?
Yeah, Niti is our customer. Niti took a lot of time to become a customer, right? Uh, मैं कॉलेज से पहले we had a different director. उनसे आवले सर थे, उनसे बात किया, पुंडिल सर से बात किया. So until 2019 or so, we didn't get Niti. So
Sure.
it took 10 years to get your own college signed up.
Where the idea actually brewed.
Yeah.
So I have one taking back probably 3-4 years before. So this COVID time was very tough for almost everyone, and for WoW also. But I know that there is a story of WoW resilience. So I want you to narrate that story for all of us to learn from that story. If you can help us understand.
Um, something that's been always with us is basically resilience in the team as well, right? Like, say, there were a lot of not only COVID, because there were much larger than COVID issues that happened. And so I think uh, probably in 2013 or so, there was one time when we had a very big project. Back then, it was a big project. आज के लिए वो नहीं लगता है. But it was a big one, and then you got a project. Suddenly, the main guys who were supposed to work on the project put their papers. Okay, and then almost everyone left. So, सब हो गया था. We had to get actually when we shut down the services business, उससे पहले भी many of the team members left. So we went back to almost 5 people in 2014 from 20-25 people which were there in about a year ago or so. Yeah, there were many times, and COVID was मुझे वो सब देखते हुए COVID is like कुछ नहीं है. It was, yeah, we just had cash flow issues. Yeah, exactly before COVID, there was an investor who was saying, I will invest like 2-3 crores in the company, will do everything. And then COVID happened, and he said, like, back door, right? He doesn't even respond to calls now. So yeah, COVID was very good because it was like we were very good as a we were making money. So what kept us going was we were always had customers who were paying money. It was high, low, doesn't matter. There was someone who was paying, and what you can do is just contract and then say things. So we went back and said, I spoke to all the team members, got into a conference call and said, hey, I want to conserve cash. I am not going to cut down your salaries, which is everyone doing. I don't want to fire anyone. I just asked them to, can you take a break? Can you delay your salaries a bit? So we asked a lot of them to defer salaries, and hardly took about 3 months of deferment, like 3-4 months. After that, we were able to back to track, and then we paid back the same year, everyone with their regular pricing as well. So it was good, because other thing is, I could have just said that I'll get some money from somewhere, borrow and get in. But the same money that you're borrowing from outside, you're borrowing from your own team members. So that also brought in like a lot of people feeling that, hey, it's my company, right? So that's a different sense that of belongingness that comes up when a team owns up.
There was one new initiative also around the same time you started.
We did a lot of things. So when the moment it comes, you had to do some things new, right? So because customers were feeling, so we were in touch with customers, and they were feeling what to do now because the colleges were closed, and also we launched a new initiative called 13x, which actually shaped up something very interesting now. Which was we launched as a new product where we started helping them with the mentoring sessions, like guest lectures and all. Entirely Zoom वगैरह things. So we integrated with Zoom's APIs to make it जो कॉलेज को चाहिए था वो हमने दिया. We did almost 250 plus sessions, but that let us know something very interesting called, because session webinar में क्या होता है, आप सेशन लेते हो चले जाते हो, you don't know how the outcome is, right? So we came up with something called a mentoring outcome focused mentoring programs now, and that is now what we are selling to the colleges, where बंदे को अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट करना है, why can't an alumni come as a guide for, अपने नीति में काफी सारे बार होता है, बाहर कहीं होता नहीं है कि there's an alumni who comes as a guide for your student. Why can't they even do a small, like say mobile app भी सीख रहे हो तुम, mobile app, there could be a lot of alumni who are already done that. Why can't they become guides? So we started as a new product entirely. We call it as a no touch mentoring and outcome focused programs. Two things, right? जैसे resume review नीति में होता है. I don't know at your time, but our time में 3 alumni seniors से compulsory आपको resume review कराना है.
Same in our time. Yeah, even more. And we used to have fact files being, they reviewed from people, and
you have this form that you used to fill when you enter NITI.
Yes.
Yeah. So all of that gets filled up.
Form grew into a booklet. I remember
Yes,
for
that's
us it was a very big booklet.
yeah. So everyone had it. So it's been from earlier days then. So we had to fill that. Then they go through. You will have to get 3 or 4 senior. आपको गाली देता है, सब करता है. But वो बनता है कि like you become nice one-page resume, right?
Right.
Which doesn't happen in a lot of colleges, right? इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में आप देखते हो कोई डाउनलोड करते हैं कहीं से लेके आते हैं. Why can't your alumni tell you that? So that's something that we started with a very interesting program where you say people just submitting resumes and alumni are giving feedback. And alumni who like them actually want to hire them back into their team or anything as well. So this is something that's coming up, which we are actually very bullish about that. उसमें हमने AI ऐड किया है. तो आज our AI tool will actually tell you a score of how good is this resume is, including internships है, projects है, which areas that you're working on, which is suitable role. सब ने हम we built up something there. Yeah, if your college dumps in all the resumes in our platform, it will tell who will get placed and what salary. So we built up that interesting model for them. We are bullish about it. Let's see how it goes.
Interestingly, Paresh, through all these ups and downs and through many product innovations, like you mentioned as well, what would you call as like your top 3 learnings, if you can share with the rest of us?
One would be always because we kept going. Okay, I respect, and the thing has always been the focus on money from customers, right? So that's probably my first learning as such. Yeah, because it was already there, that kept us going. Otherwise, I would have, if the cash flows were hit, right? So we would have to quit. There's no other way, no other thing that you can do that. And then second probably would be I was able to do also because my expenses were pretty low. To be very candid, my first paid income tax return I filed it like say 2019. Okay, you would imagine that you didn't have a taxable income until then. Okay, yeah, it's very difficult, and you had a life partner who was not asking so much. उनका एक्सपेंस निकल गया तो ठीक है. मेरे पापा ने मुझे एक ही बोला था कि when you said you do anything you want, don't ask me for money.
So maybe tell us a little bit about competition is industry mein, because it seems like a unique product as such, right? So do you have any formal competition or people that you consider as competition?
There are companies that in the place where thing is while there are companies and all, I'm still struggling. Okay, I'm very candid here. The market is not ready. Okay, market is not ready to pay you a premium. क्योंकि अगर कॉलेज में नीति भी देखते हैं, they pay us about ₹1,00,000 or so, okay, per year. That will not attract any of the investors. VCs, investors, no one attracts kind of money, right? So they need like $100 million revenue so that they get $1 billion exit. That's the only thing that they look at. So this is not a VC investable in that say. We know that it can be. We know why. The way we look at it is very different from what they look at, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Because that's not there. There are not a lot of players. So you shouldn't say that there's no competition because maybe the market is not in the right way. Because if the market was very good, probably there would be 100 other players there. Okay. Now, while we understood that this is an insight that I have since like 2017, 18, we didn't know what is the solution. Okay, I know that there's a problem. I know that people want to get in touch with their alumni. Alumni network is very powerful, always said, because you get to speak to a lot of CEOs and CXOs just like that, right? Because you say it's an alumni, your alumni, जैसे Softstall का CEO है श्रीनी मडाला बोल के आपने. So I just dropped him a message and we speak, we go for dinner. How do I even get an access to him otherwise? Okay, ICANN's president is ICANN's vice president or something is our alumni. उनसे भी बात होती है. These are not like you don't get that access otherwise, and this is powerful everywhere, not only for a top college like NITI, right? Even at a school level, even at everything, everywhere you have this network. Just that what is the right solution is something that we were not able to crack for some time. Now we have a very good direction in which we are going, where we see it will change a lot of things, but otherwise nahi hua tha. So because alumni wants the use, they can't pay because the user doesn't pay most of the times. College doesn't pay for this engagement. So how do you balance them? Who else has? Then someone else has to pay. So that is something that we're not able to discover for some time. We think we will change the things the way going forward. But yeah, that's the reason there is no major competition. There are companies like Alma Shines, there are companies like Alma Connect. None of them are probably making a lot of money as well.
And what about a product like this for corporates you mentioned? Because
I
that's
think
not
this
very
company
large.
called Enterprise Alumni there, and then we are the ones in India. There's no one else actually. Again, very new, so that's the reason no one even thought of it. So we signed up very marquee names. Even Deloitte signed up recently. So many marquee names that we have, and in India and actually in global as well, we are very good players there. Actually, globally we are in the जो G2 crowd बोल के एक होता है उसमें number one आता है अपना. They rate as number one and all. It's a very reputed one. In that way, we are good. We are expanding there.
I have a similar question. Is you have a very long list of clients like you mentioned, and very prestigious ones like Bosch, Tata Steel, Deloitte, to name a few. So, would you like to narrate a interesting story of a sales during your entire experience, which is very interesting and for the readers, very they can learn something out of it.
So something that we were very we had an investor called Uttishta. It was an accelerator kind of thing back in 2014. Now, while all of that was good, he was the one who actually helped us set up a sales process. Now, most of the startups fail at saying this, setting up a sales process. What they do is the founder sells. Founder is a natural seller. Always they go and sell, and I can do it. Now you'll not be able to scale if you are alone selling, right? What the organizations miss out is building up the sales process. Sales process में कैसे होता है कि you find out generate leads first. How do you generate leads? There's a book called Traction by इसका कौन सा? He's the founder of DuckDuckGo. He has a very good book called Traction. So it tells about like 17 or 18 different channels by which you can actually generate leads. So you generate leads through one of them, find out qualify those leads. Qualification of lead is very important because everyone says I want it. Okay, but you need to look at whether they have a budget to pay for that. They really want it immediately. So there's something called band बोल के होता है, budget, authority, need, and T is time when they want. So can you qualify that saying this is going to be my customer in the next 2 weeks or 3 months, whatever your time is, and only then you pursue it. Otherwise, you are wasting time. So then there comes your account executives who actually go and sell, who actually negotiate and close. So every different role is a different skill. The one who does a value proposition and closure is different from someone who just does a SDR. SDR is someone who generates leads. So you need to have different people. You need to know how it flows, the pipeline, the funnel कैसे होता है. तो वो आपको करना पड़ेगा. Every company has to do that. So I was always fascinated by how large organizations work, like say Tata's or even Birla's. Ratan Tata को तो पता भी नहीं होगा क्या हो रहा ground पे. But he's actually must have built up such a large organization, right? So I was always fascinated by this. Is something that I was excited about when I said, "Hey, company banana hai, to it should work without you." That's the role of a company. You start an organization, you put up a frame, but it has to run without you. It's the people who has to run it and build it, etc. We have now, I and my co-founders are there. There are two other co-founders who are there. Then we have a team of 5 people whom we call is a strategic advisory committee, who are like the next level of leadership. And many of them have been with me for more than 5 years. So 3 of them are more than like 8 to 7 years hai, dusra 5 years ho gaya. And then the others also will get complete like almost 5 years soon. So, and they are the leading now. They are leading the entire team. And corporate magar sales probably till until like 10 or 12 customers is where I was involved in corporate sales, like just from the Deloitte and other things. And last 10 sales, I would not even be. Rahul is there who is actually taking care of everything. Right. So Rahul now manages a team of like almost 9 people. Okay. You have to build that organization structure wherein team takes up ownership by themselves. They know what to do, and you want them to work with a kind of philosophy or a kind of values that you built up.
Any interesting story example that you have of a client of a sales pitch?
So I think Qualcomm was our first corporate customer. Now they took a break and they are going to go global. They was with us for 5 years. Qualcomm came to us asking because we were into college alumni, and there was the first customer who actually we didn't have a first customer who signed up with us. Okay, and a very big name like Qualcomm, right? Now there was a person who was head of Bangalore office there, and then he was taking lead of this initiative. Now, literally for the first 6 months, we didn't even, when they put up requirements, we had most of them, but we didn't have everything that they wanted, and we were not designed for corporate. While it looks like a same segment, same product, it's a different segment. So your needs are different for a corporate versus a college. So for the first 6 months with working with Qualcomm, it was literally like sitting with them, understanding what they want and coming up with solutions. So you had customer who is owning up your problem. Customers who actually owning up problem. A lot of times we feel that okay, we should be all good to a customer. No. उनको अपना problem बताओ, they will also come up with solutions. You work together to actually find out. So sales pitch as such, like you, as long as you know the value proposition, right? So today we exactly know what is, like, say, Bosch. Okay, what are they looking for? They look out for, so alumni को क्या होता है, boomerang बोल के होता है. Boomerang is like they're coming back to their companies. So that is something as a pitch that we sell. We speak about boomerang employees coming back. Second is the employee experience. It's not even that you want to large companies actually are not personal. उनका exit जब होता है ना, so they actually have a very good experience with exit. You have an exit interview. बहुत सारा structure होता है. And that's the reason your exit experience is important. Simple exit experience can get damaged if your form 16 is delayed or your pay slips are delayed. आपको pay slips चाहिए, you don't know whom to reach out to and no one is responding. Or even if your F&F is getting delayed by more than 15 days or so, you start asking 15 days, 45 days. Then you actually start worrying about them. And then you don't need someone to reach out to, right? Getting streamlined. So we streamline all of that for corporates with integrations with their HRMS and everything. So very good exit experience is something that's very important. Just Deloitte is doing something very interesting. Deloitte is coming up with a solution where their clients are able to recruit their alumni. They're proving it as a privilege because most of these consultants, they would actually want to post jobs to their. They wanted to do it for, in US, they do it for even the employees, it seems. यहाँ पे they don't want to do it for employees, they will do it for the clients. That's so they call it the jobs marketplace की तरह बना रहा है. Very interesting model, right? You are actually giving a privilege to your clients because all of these are Deloitte employees. They want to get jobs. Why should they come back? Yeah.
Right. So we talked a lot about business. We also wanted to speak to you regarding some of your personal side, and hence I wanted to ask you this question: that apart from the business pursuit, if you can share some light on your personality, what do you like to do in your free time or your personal time?
So I'm a coder. So I like design. I like code. I spend a lot of time working on code. Today the production systems and all I don't have to because there's a team with the CTO and everyone they took care. I keep working on something new whenever I get free time. I go for cycling a lot. Swimming and cycling is my personal thing. Like अगर time मिल गया तो it's time for आप fresh mind आ जाएगा आपको जाने से. Like, so the cycling is being there for some time. Then apart from that, not much. If I get some free time, I play with my kid. So that's a good stress reliever, right? So so these days he's coming to cycling with me. So we go on, like, he last weekend also he came for 5 kilometer rides. He's only 6 years old, but like it was good. So yeah.
What do you code specifically? Is it some problems that you do, take out, or something related to product, or in general some problems you take up and code?
New things most of the time. So like last 1 month I've been working with models, AI models and new things, OpenAI and all. It's very interesting. It's going to change. People, I don't know who said that jobs are not going to go back. At least all the IT jobs that are there in India will vanish. 70 to 80% of them will vanish. Whoever is doing a mediocre job will vanish in the next 5-6 years. Okay, people who are speaking that jobs are not going to go back because clients are not going to say requirements they haven't seen the power of what AI is doing. Okay, it will replace a lot of, because other IT companies में other jobs are like mundane tasks that they do. कुछ ऐसा ये देते, all of that is going to go back. That's going to vanish. Okay, 5 years maximum, maybe 10 years. I was able to build these models probably like this resume scoring wala मैंने बनाया code उसका पूरा. It hardly took me 3 to 5 hours to even do a POC. Okay, I was able to use AI to build it, and the entire product, it took time, about a week to 10 days to build it. This ideally would have taken at least 9 to 10 months.
Yes, so a little bit back to your personal life, right? You spoke a little bit about it, how your wife does not have any high demands from you, and how you like to spend time with your kid as a stress reliever. So, very interestingly, entrepreneurship is a tough journey, right? And the role of family is very crucial in this entire process. So, tell us a little bit more about how has that support worked out for you?
Yeah. So, like they said, it's very lonely, right? Like even you can't even open up with your wife. Okay, to be very frank and candid, right? It's unless if you can actually tell anything to anyone, right? So not to your partners, not to your, because a lot of times there are things that you're going through. Because the reason is because they are so concerned about you that, like, say आज अगर कुछ stress में लग जाते हो तो she starts worrying about, and you can handle that, how you will be able to figure it out, or what you can do. They're not in the same frame of mind. So while it's very good to feel that your wife is very supportive, you still can't open up. Okay. There was a conversation at one of the events. Someone was saying that uh, uh, if you are an entrepreneur and you are looking for a partner, uh, choose the spouse who has her father just like you. Okay, that solves a lot of problem, because she has been seeing her dad was also, he's not a entrepreneur, but he's been doing a lot of freelance. He's a music teacher, so, and he does a lot of कचहरी पे जाते हैं, इधर उधर घूमते रहते हैं. He's always busy with work. He's not like, so she knows that her father is like always not with time spent करना वगैरह नहीं होता है उनसे भी, like she's also busy. So he's seen her father like that, and now there's not even an expectation from me that कि मैं जाके, the only thing they care about is time, right? Because they're not worried about money or anything as such. Most of the times partners want time from you. Okay, based on what your time is, I try to balance, I try to take care of that, like, and the moment I say I'm busy right now or something, she's very understanding in that way.
So moving forward, since we also began the journey from Nitty, and you got this idea somewhere, also built up from Nitty. So how Nitty actually played out a role in your entrepreneurship journey?
So Nitty was the one that helped me kick off, right? Otherwise, I would not have. Maybe I would have started. Don't say that, but it was like definitely at the campus where the ideas changed. Like, say you got a perspective that this can be big, this can be very big and very powerful, and it's important because that's the experience that you don't get outside. The kind of, I think there are a lot of Nitty alumni, Nikhil hai, all of this. I actually met them, Rohit Tripathi, and all of them actually met in campus. They, when they were like, I was there, and then Nikhil was working on something. He said, "Can you work on?" I said, "Can you work on as a developer?" I couldn't work on them back then, but those connections we built up back then. And Nitty, there are at least 8 to 9 people in my investors list who are Nitty alumni, and none of them were formal. I just dropped an email sometime back saying I'm looking for some funds, and then they joined on the board, and then they invested.
Then can we say that you have leveraged the Nitty
Alumni network.
alumni network very well, as your company is? So any parting message for Nitty alumni or people who are listening to this podcast?
May not be Nitty alumni, but Nitty students. Okay, Nitty students who want to start up, but they feel like, okay, because see, thing is, it's very challenging for an MBA grad to exit. Okay, to leave his well-paying job and then end up into entrepreneurship, because they almost अभी 15 लाख होगा आपका fee भी, अभी बढ़ेगा वो actually. So for everyone, it's going to be very high, and you can't exit that. So if you have to start off, don't wait for even graduation, right? Start off something in campus. इन कैंपस वाइल यू आर इन कैंपस, क्या होता है ना, तो आपको 1-2 साल मिल जाते हैं वेयर यू कैन एक्चुअली वर्क ऑन समथिंग. इफ इट वर्क्स आउट वेरी वेल, you can say that, okay, I know, you will be very confident that it worked out, and then you can land on something. You can start off with it. But if it doesn't work out, you can always go to a job. ऐसा नहीं है कि जॉब नहीं मिलेगा, right? And if you had an entrepreneurial experience, most of the companies, and today उस जमाने में fashion था कि we don't hire people who are in business or something. आज नहीं है. आज people are actually more proactive in hiring. May not be a TCS or an Infosys or anything, but definitely would be lot of this founders, startup founders have something called roles called founders office बोलते हैं, CEOs office बोलते हैं. बहुत सारे roles, and this is very exciting role compared to even the other jobs. You will actually learn more working with founders. So if I look at my nitty work at 2 साल मैंने जो कैंपस में जाकर बैठ के बिजनेस किया ना, the only thing it taught me would be is live life without excuses. Okay, because I couldn't give an excuse to my teacher saying that because I have a business, I can't do an assignment, I can't attend examinations or something. I couldn't give an excuse to my client saying that because I have examinations, I'll not be able to deliver on your project or something, or I can't attend the meeting because there was a class. You can't give an excuse to anyone, and that is the most important skill, right? So you'll at least learn that, right? You become and subject was definitely Mandi sir बोलते हैं ना कि आप सीखोगे only when you actually make money out, because back then college में लोग they were worried about what is a debit or credit or things in the balance sheet, and I was filing my returns, company returns, so you get to know a lot of things about business without doing it. वहाँ पे one more thing, okay, if you are starting off, or maybe that's for other everyone, other entrepreneurs also, right? If you're starting off, right, don't keep an plan B open. Okay, while everyone says have a plan B, don't keep a plan B open, because the moment you have a plan B, the mind will tend to say not find a solution for plan A, but tend to go to plan B. Like say मुझे फिर जॉब मिल जाएगा. Okay, तो जॉब तो मिल जाएगा, जॉब को क्या है, मिल जाएगा. But like if you say that option is open, you tend to choose that option in the most toughest time, and it's not going to be all good always. It's going to be tough. It's the first 9 months of my journey in my after campaign, I felt everything was all good. कुछ भी issue नहीं थे. अरे ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Because that's how the beginner's luck is always plays out, right? So actually you start anything, probably for some time it always will be good. Okay, that's when things start going bad is when you would realize that hey, this is did I even buy in for this? And it takes time. It's not going to be like 3-4 साल में तो होने वाला नहीं है, 10 साल लग जाएंगे, आपको पता नहीं. Yes, yeah. If you have an option B, you will you know that story of a cat and mouse, right? So they say cat and mouse, and most probably times the mouse wins. Okay, because cat is looking for a food, whereas mouse is looking for its life.
Yeah.